guys. It looks like Bitcoin has lost the backtest zone. I think I read somewhere about 110 million liquidations. So yeah, that was our level we wanted to hold here, and it looks like we lost it. And now we're coming back up and we're retesting it as resistance. So it could still be a diagonal, right? We have really a few options here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get 5, right? I mean, but it really has to, this has to be the bottom. You know, I guess you can get one more little bit of a low, but if you once you break that, it's pretty much that's invalid. So we want to hold this area and pump to the upside, and that can be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So 3, 3, 3, 3. So a diagonal, right? And then you would get that ABC. You would flag out in here for a while, and then continue higher. So that's kind of the idea that we're hoping for. If not, then what we're going to look for is, I'm going to put line right back there. If we start to, actually let's zoom in to the 1 hour here. Yeah, I was not liking this type of price action here. Anytime you start getting this, boom, 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 it breaks, resets, breaks, reset, break, reset, right? So I'll give you an example. Here's your channel here, right there, and then you just fall through. Well, check this out. That's exactly what's been going on with Bitcoin for a while here. Look at this. Here's another example. And right here, you see that channel. Let's see if I can fix it a little bit. Okay, so you could see we had that sort of first drop, and then we kind of just, you know, going down, resetting, and then bam, fall through the floor. But then that's the bottom, and then you continue, you know, pumping back up. So is this, you know, just a bigger or a smaller version of this here? I mean, yeah, it's possible, but we really needed to start moving fast, right? I mean, you can see, boom, boom, there's your divergence. Boom, boom, there's your divergence, right? And we've talked about when we were up here, I want to see a pullback. I want to see it come back down and back test. Or at least give me some kind of, you know, fourth wave if it's a diagonal. So we did, but, you know, it broke through it. So now it's like, okay, well, we still have a higher low. So we have a low, a higher low, right? Higher low. So we don't want to break that. I mean, that's the problem. So we're getting real close here. So, you know, but the bulls got to step up like right now. So that's the thing, you know, you're playing with fire here. Because, like I said, we're in an inflection point. If this thing breaks to the downside, it's going to really screw up for the next 6 months to a year, right? I mean, again, because there's really two options when you look at it from the macro. Either this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or this is going to be going down into reaccumulation like it did back over here, where we sort of went sideways for a while. So we could be going sideways down here, right? So, you know, essentially a rise, crash, retrace, you go down into reaccumulation, you go sideways, then you break out. Rise, crash, retrace, that broke the high, which is called a flat, right? Then you come down and you go into reaccumulation, you go sideways, then you break out at a later day. This would be a massive running flat, or a cup and handle, or, you know, whatever you want to say. So that's kind of like the main idea. So that's the thing, right? I mean, we know global liquidity is starting to rise. That's a good thing. You know, the Fed should be cutting rates next month, or but usually the cutting cycle is kind of bearish, but it's yet to be seen how this is going to go down. But essentially what we have is a retest of this area here, this breakdown area, right? So we came down, and now we're back up to the point where we broke down from. So we're back underneath the bull market support band. That's another bearish thing, is we're back below the bull market support band. We need to get back above that quickly. So this is going to be the area where it decides, do we go up or do we go down, right? I'm still, I was feeling a lot better yesterday thinking we would back test it, but now we're back under here. I'm starting to, my bullishness is starting to fade here, as far as getting this fifth wave. So it's got to prove to me, right? It's got to prove it to me that it can get back above 61K, right? We need to stay above 62K and stay above that. But this could just be a liquidity grab, a big dump, right? A liquidation. So we have to be mindful of that. Another bearish thing as well is we lost our pivot line. So if I draw a channel like this, we lost the mean, and I come down like this, you can see this pivot line right there. We lost that, so we have to get back above that. Okay, so let's see, but you can kind of see here where we came down, we broke back above the pivot line, we came down, we made another low, but then we came back above it. So what if we got something like that? Let's take a look here. If I take a bars pattern, something like this, something like that, where we're kind of retesting this downward trend line here. I guess that would make sense, and that would still technically qualify as a diagonal. I suppose you have 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and then 5. And then, so the whole thing, right, would be a bigger diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So, yeah, that's one to definitely keep an eye on. Also, if you look at the stock market, the Dow Jones just yesterday set a record high, right? So a new record high. So, the markets are still somewhat stable, healthy. So, and again, it's, I hate saying it over, but what's going to happen this election cycle? People are on edge. So they're kind of like, well, maybe I'll just get out of the market and stay on the sidelines and then see what happens. And then once everything's okay, I'll get back in the market. So you have people who are basically just waiting to see what happens. So that, that might be a good strategy. But for me, when I look at the altcoins, like let's look at Theta. Theta is got about, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waves down. That's plenty of waves to the downside. So at minimum, we want to see some kind of retracement here, right? We want to see, some kind of retracement back to the upside if it's going to be bearish, right? And then continue down, right? So that could be something to look for if the bears are going to take control. Another thing to look for is getting back. Let's actually zoom in here. So Theta is actually doing really well. So if we look at Theta, It actually came all the way back down, and it back tested perfectly. Look at this. Perfect. This is a perfect, I mean, did we even, let's see here. Yeah, that's a perfect back test, guys. Perfect. This is what we want to see. That's why, looking at Bitcoin, it's kind of sad and depressing. But when I look at Theta, it looks nice. It looks beautiful. I mean, that's what you want to see, right? You got 7 waves down. You got 7 waves down on the larger time frames, right? That's a typical crashing structure. And you look at the 2-week chart, and what are we on? We're on a TD sequential 9 buy on the 2-week chart, which is a very rare buy signal. It's only happened 2 other times in Theta's history. And basically, when this 9 closed, I said, look, the following candle is probably going to come down and retest it 50%. And that's exactly what it's doing now. So could it come back and retest the bottom of these 2 order blocks? Yes, it can. The thing is the 9 is a 2-week 9. So it could take time for it to develop. I mean, you can see this 9 over here. It wasn't perfected, but look, it took how many candles after that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles. 8 times 2. That's 16 weeks it took before that 9 was activated, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but I'm just giving you an example. Just because you have a 9 doesn't mean it's going to happen right away, right? It could take a little bit of time. The nice thing about this 9 is it's perfected, and you got a nice base going on over here, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's see if let's allow this base to continue to develop, and that base has a range between where we are a dollar, say 50, all the way down to 96 cents. So that's a 50-cent range. So as long as we're in that 50-cent range, it's still okay from a 2-week perspective. And you would really want it to be at $1.10. So you really would say probably like a 35-40 cent range, really conservatively, right? So that's something to be bullish about. That's something to take seriously. So yeah, let's keep looking here. Now when we go down to the daily, we also had a 9, right? And we came all the way up, and we almost made it to a 9, but we landed at an 8 here, and you can see that 6, that doji. And look what reversed the price. It all starts with the doji, right? So that daily doji that we got, that was a perfect short potential take profit area, right? And then you kind of want to re-enter back down here when you get that back test, but you want to confirm the back test. We still haven't confirmed it. We still have about 4 hours left on the daily candle. So if it ends a doji, that's pretty good. It's showing that okay, shorts are closing their positions, potentially buyers are stepping up, right? So let me zoom in like to the 2-hour chart here. I'll take that off, and you can see, actually let me get to this chart. It's a lot cleaner here. Okay, here we go. So this is the Theta chart. 1 second. Here we go. So as long as we hold that, I think we're doing really well. Let's see how many waves we got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, would you look at that? We got 7 waves. Do we have any bullish divergence? That's another thing to look for. Do we have any bullish? Yes, we do, and it's strong too. That doesn't mean, it doesn't mean it's 100%. It just means that's something positive, right? We got bullish divergence on the 2-hour, right? Let's see how high it goes up. On the 4 hours, ever so slightly, yeah. So I would think the 4 hour would be it. The 1 hour I would imagine is really nice. Yes, you can see it here. Let me just show you. So low, lower low, lower low, going down. Low, higher low, going up. So there's your bullish divergence. Now, it can get wiped out by coming up, taking the top, and then just coming back down, right? And then it just kind of, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things that it gives you sort of the edge, it gives you the indicator, but when you look at it from a 1 hour perspective, it can get wiped out in a few hours, you know what I mean? So, but it's something positive we want to look for on the small time frames when trying to figure out when a reversal is coming in. Or another idea is that, and by the way, that idea would mean, right, we're back testing here. We got bullish divergence. So the next thing is to build a base here, somewhat of a sideways motion, and then continue to make our way back towards the retracement levels. So that's kind of the idea that we want to see. And it looks like we have, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get 5. Because I really want to see it get to the bull market support band. Right? Let's get back up there and see if we, and then see if we can get through it, or what's more likely is if we just kind of flag out in here. Right? Flagging out. That's kind of what I would expect. So that's still the main idea for Theta. And if anything change, I will be sure to let you know. Also, if you want to hit subscribe, turn the notifications on, because I'm going to be looking at this probably almost every day, because we're at a very important time right now. So, but yeah, it's definitely, hopefully we can hold this spot here. So what else is there that we can look for? Well, if we start, by the way, let's pull up our retracement level here from here to the top, and look at that. We had a 618 retrace right on the dot, and we actually wicked through and almost hit the 702. And that, I believe I talked about that yesterday. $1.22, basically pulling that retracement. I believe it was Theta, or it might have been Total 3. I can't remember. So yeah, I mean, we came up, and now we have a 618 retrace. Let's hold it. We're right in that golden pocket between the 618 and the 50. So this is the area where the bulls need to step up to the plate and buy. So yeah, so not financial advice, by the way. Another, so that's kind of the bullish thing. The bearish thing to look for is that, I mean, if this comes up in 3 like this, and then it starts coming down, and then it basically gets rejected in here, that's not going to look good, because it's probably a bigger A, B, C here, right? We got a much bigger correction we're dealing with. And it would still be okay, but it would just mean another wave to the downside, and then kind of reset itself, right? So we might have a double zigzag here, if that's what's happening. Another bearish thing that could happen is, well, we just continue to fall, right? And I would put it right about here, about $1.16. I think this area. So what I would do is I'd take the Fibonacci retracement from the top of this zone right here, and I would take it all the way to the bottom of the zone, and I would look, let's see, where, okay, so this area right here between $1.18 and $1.15, and I would just remove that. So that would be the big area, right, where we need to hold. If we break that, if we come up here and break it, or if we you know, continue to just pull up, reset, come down, pull up, reset, come down. If we get underneath it, then we want to get back above it, obviously. But if we get rejected, obviously that would be probably a good time to get out. At least for some of the position I hold here, I would be getting out and looking to re-enter at a better time. So if I take this whole thing all the way to the top, I would probably look at that point at about $1.07. If we start losing, you know, $1.20, $1.15, I would get out and look for $1.07. But so far, you know, we're doing okay. It's a pullback. Nothing goes up in a straight line. Let's keep it moving here. By the way, I forgot to mention, when we go back to Bitcoin here and we look at this sort of little fractal here, right? Remember we had this here and we sort of have a high, we sort of bottleneck down and then drop through the floor. Well, if you look, I did show that's what happened over here, but that's also what happened over here. You can see right here how right here you can see that bottleneck right there, and we kind of fell to the floor, but then we came back up, right, and then we crashed pretty hard to the floor. So if I just take kind of like a bars pattern here and then sort of scale it to its appropriate size, something like that, we could see something like that, right, where we kind of come up and then hit it one more time. But yeah, you can see it. You know, here's the other example here where we kind of, you can't really see it on the 4-hour chart, but we're kind of bottlenecking down and break through. And I think it happened again somewhere. Yeah, right here. You can see where we're kind of bottlenecking in here. We had a high, some divergence, fell through, bottleneck down, fall through the floor. Right? So, you know, whatever's in the Bitcoin algorithms, I mean, that's usually what's been going on throughout all of these kind of corrections. I mean, you can see it a little bit in this one for sure, this one for sure, this one for sure, and now this one just on a smaller time frame. Right? So it's definitely something in their algorithms that's doing that. Which is good for us because now we know, you know, we know what to look for. So the problem is there's no real way to count it. There's not a good count here. It's just kind of like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, bottleneck down, fall through. Right? So obviously, probably the most conservative thing you can say would be 1 2. All of this is 3. This is some kind of flat here for a 4, and then we hit 5. So 1 2 3 4 5, and that's probably what we're gonna get. We're probably gonna get another low. If we don't, then that's, hey, I'll be fine with that. But don't really have much divergence here on Bitcoin. We were oversold, so what we want to see for Bitcoin, you can kind of see A, B, C, a flat here, or we actually have, yeah, and then we come down, we get rejected, so this is a 3-wave move. We come down, we hit it hard to break this low. Maybe we come back up a little bit. and it gets a little bit more complex. Then we hit the low, causing the RSI to come up and then drop. So then you can start to see the bullish divergence forming here on Bitcoin. So that's kind of what I would look for the price of Bitcoin if we get that bullish divergence here. But until then, it looks like it's probably flagging out for a fourth wave here. Let's go to the 1 hour. Okay, let's go to the 10-minute chart. Yeah, you can see the flat. You can see it. It's 3 up, 3 down, and then 5 up. So we had a 3, 3, 5. There's your 3-wave move. And then what happened after that? Boom, we came all the way down. So now it's sort of, what is it doing now? It's kind of got a 3-wave shape going now, right? So we had an impulse down with a 3-wave pullback. So does this turn into a diagonal with an ABC, or does it get rejected and start coming down? Right? That's going to be what to look for too. If we start coming down, we're probably going to get that 5th wave. If we get the 5th wave, then what happens to the altcoins? Right? Because the altcoins already made, oh well, yeah, let me see. Yeah, I guess you could see the altcoins a little bit more easier to count. We got 1, 2. I mean, this looks like 3. This looks like 4. And this looks like 5. So it looks like it's done. I mean, we could be done here, you know, on the total 3. So, and look at that. We got bullish divergence here on the smaller time frame, something you would expect. Even on the 30 or on the 20-minute. I don't think, do we have it on the hour? And we got it on the hour too. I mean, it's pretty strong too on the hour. And we got triple bullish divergence here. So on the last hour candle, we had a bullish engulfing candle. And now we're kind of holding steady here. So let me zoom in a little bit. But it's 3-wave-ish. So I want to see this hit the high and then come all the way back down, kind of like a little roundabout, go sideways and then break out. I want to see something like that. If we don't hit the high, then we only have 3, which means we're probably going to get another 5 down, or at least 3 down, right? And you'd get continuing to get that divergence, maybe a shoulder ahead, a shoulder here, right? So yeah, you know, Monday we dump, Tuesday we dump, Wednesday we dump, or actually Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we've been dumping for 4 days straight. So I'm wondering, you know, Thursday's our big volatile day. Are we going to get a bounce, or are we going to hit really hard to the downside? You know, it's kind of like a monitoring situation where we just have to monitor it, you know. I mean, especially the small time frames, there's a few different ways it could happen here. So that's, let me zoom out again. Yeah, well, it did exactly what we thought, which is getting back to the bull market support band. We came down. So I want to see a retracement. I want to see a retracement. Now, the kind of the scary thing is you see how long this wave was? It was pretty long. And then that was the wave there, and then it went, and then it just had a liquidation. So I'm wondering if you kind of slant it out and then you just dump down like that, right? If we get something like that, then it's really not going to be good, because now it's telling me, you know, is this going to be like a shoulder ahead, and then here's your shoulder here, we have to come back down to this area here? I mean, maybe, right? Maybe you can look at it like that. So yeah, it's kind of like a do or die situation here. The total 3 is doing what it needs to do, right? It's back testing in here, and it's still holding, right? So we want to see a retracement. We want to see, give us something like that, and then we can come down, right? If it's something bigger, that'll be better, right? But if it's something impulsive and we just kind of reset a little bit, continue down, then we're looking at a bigger wave here. But we don't want a bigger wave. We want it to flag out, right? We want it to overlap like this. So we need that push probably within the next 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours. If we come down and hit the low one more time, that's still okay, right? Because it could, again, you could see right here, it could be 1, 2, all of this is 3, this is 4, maybe we're still in 5. Now, I do like the bullish doji candle, the doji candle. I really like that right now, and it's going to end in 42 seconds. So what's the sequential on it? So we're on a 7. By the way, yesterday we had a 9. It was not, it did not work out, right? We had an ABC pullback. But the thing is we didn't back test down here, right? So if we had the 9 here, that would be a little bit better. I thought there was a good chance we could probably come back up, at least for something like this. Let me show you here. So we had 3 down, we had a 9. So I was thinking, okay, let's get 3 back up and then come back down and have an ABC. Or even come back down and back test here in an ABC. That would have been better, but instead we just kind of like had a big drop. I mean, that's a pretty big drop. And that signals impulsiveness. We don't want it to be impulsive. We want it to be corrective. And that's the thing we need to look for. And that's going to be the signal, the key. Are we going to get that 5th wave, or are we going to go down into reaccumulation? So, you know, that's the thing, right? So let me take that off and look at the 5-minute chart here. So today it's all about microstructure and seeing if we can get out of here, because it just seems like this is an impulse to the downside with a 3-wave pullback. So if we start impulsing again, I mean, this thing can get pretty ugly here pretty fast. So let's move on to engine here. So engine, you know, it did exactly what it needed to do. It had a nice ascending triangle. We talked about that. Said it looked pretty bullish. We broke out. We met the measured move. Now we came all the way back, and now we're back testing it. So here's the trick. Are we going to hold it and go up, or are we going to fail and come down? This is where the decision is going to be made. Now, if you ask me, well, what is it going to do? Well, we have to wait and see. We have to watch, right? Because we don't know if it's going to hold yet. Let's look at XRP. XRP looks really good. I like XRP. The reason why I like it so much is because we have a beautiful 3-wave move. Now, it might not be finished. That's the problem. But you can see right here. We have this A, B, and C. Now, you could put C there or B there, and C could be a flat. But, you know, you can see it. You can see this impulse to the upside, and then you have this 3-wave shape. It's kind of like a B wave here, right? Or it's kind of like an S, right? It's got that look to it, that 3-wave-ish flat. So if this is a flat, if this is a 1, and this is a flat for a 2, and we're right back here, right? You can see that. We're right back here at support. Let's freaking go. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's what it looks like to me. You know, that's what it looks like to me. So, now, is it finished? That's the thing. It could be an expanded flat, right? So let me zoom in to the 1 hour here. You know, I just don't really, well, yeah, you know what? That it's the same kind of, wow. Okay, let me pause the video and I'll line them up. So that's why I like fractals, because look at this, guys. I mean, this is a fractal here that I saw. I zoomed into XRP and I thought to myself, let me go into my database inside my brain and let me look deep inside my memory and see if I can find anything that resembles what I'm looking at here. And sure enough, we were just talking about it like 10 minutes ago here with Bitcoin here. So you can see, you kind of had this bottlenecking down, right? You kind of hit the high, bottleneck down, and then look at this. It's perfect. I mean, it's literally perfect. You had this three-wave shape, this three-wave pullback, perfect. Three-wave pullback, perfect. And then what did it do? It slammed down to the low. And what did it do? XRP did. It slammed down to the low. I mean, so according to this fractal, the bottom should be in. According to this fractal. I'm not saying it's in. This is not financial advice. But again, according to this fractal, it should be probably in. So you can see what Bitcoin did after it slammed down, which is what? It came up and then it pulled back. Same thing here. It came up and then it pulled back. And then it came up and it took the high. So let's see. Now, that's the thing. We'll see if the fractal holds true. Let's pull back a little bit maybe. Let's see if we can come up and hit the high, pull back, go sideways, right? You can see it right here. So kind of like a 1, 2, 3 down sideways. 1, 2, let's get 3. Let's go down, let's go sideways, and then go up. So let's see if that's what we get. If we don't get that, then we know it's deviating away from it. But that would be, as a technician looking at the chart, that would be something to look for, right? So there we go. I kind of put some colors on there to kind of give us a little bit of better of a visual. But yeah, there we go. But the thing is too, it's a small time frame, right? It's only the 30-minute chart. So it could lead to a rally, or I'm saying it could lead to a retracement at least, and then further downside. But at least it gives us a little bit of, wiggle room, to work with here. It buys us some time at least, right? So now let's switch gears a little bit to Ethereum. If you notice Ethereum, right? If Ethereum comes down and breaks that low, and we get bullish divergence here on the 2-day, I think that could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then maybe a breakout, at least back to the bull market support band here. So that would be something to think about. Let's zoom in here to the 1 hour. So Ethereum was terrible. I mean, it came up in a diag, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it came down, it popped the high, and then it came back below all of this. So if we're below it, so let's see, this could be a flat A, B, C, and we could go up, but let's see if we get back above this support or resistance area here, right? Another way we can look at it is kind of like a bigger flat. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our diagonal. And then we have an A, B, C for an expanded flat. So we have wave 1, and then we have this 2-wave pullback, this expanded flat here. So that's actually very bullish, which would mean a big move to the upside. So yeah, let me screenshot that too. So let's see if we can get something like that. Now the thing is the flat finished? Well, it could be we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we still need 5, right? And if I put the look at that. Wow, that is massively oversold on the 1 hour. So if we come down and make another low here, there's your bullish divergence. Let's go. So that would be something to look at here. because, you know, that's a pretty big drop. We want to see some kind of retracement, or if we don't, then we're going to know if we're getting rejected here. XRP versus Ethereum, not really interesting right now. So XRP versus Bitcoin, you know, you have this three-wave shape here, right? So let's see. It actually looks pretty bullish right now, honestly. Look at that. We got a 5-wave move. Basically, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And it's kind of like flagging out here a little bit, and it's actually trying to break out, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. And if we get an ABC pullback, that would be a good long there. But let's see how it develops. ICP's doing perfectly well. It broke out and now it's back testing in here. So I would say anywhere in this range is a good area for it to hold, right? You know, don't really have much. Got a little bit of divergence, but not too much. But you know, we got 1, 2. I guess you can say all of this is, you could say 3, 4, 5, but probably this would be something like that, I would imagine. Matic. Now Matic came down quite a bit, but that's okay, right? Because Matic went up a lot. And look what Matic did. It came all the way back down to back test that area. So if I'm looking at a coin to buy, I would think probably Matic, just because of how much it fell. I mean, it fell, you know, what was that, 26% there? Whereas when you look at something like, let's say, for example, Sheeb, how much did it fall? Watch, it's going to be more. Let's see, it fell, no, it was only 17%, right? So let's see, ADA. So ADA, SHIB, you know, looking okay. It's right in this area here. So this is the area, you know, we again, so let me just summarize here. The bullish idea, what I want to look for is if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get one more low, 5, we get the bullish divergence, we start heading up, right? But you can see how this is nice and corrective, up, down, up, down, up. So it gave me that look. This looks too corrective. I mean, it looks too impulsive, right? So I'm hoping it's just a liquidity grab before a bigger move up, or just a very fast back test move up, right? But that's kind of the idea for ADA and for really the whole market. Now, if we have another hit to the low, right, and then we do the same thing but only go up in 3, then I'm going to think more down, and then we'll reevaluate over here, right? If we start breaking below this and we get rejected, we can't get back above here, then I'm going to think more down. So I think that's pretty much it here. CRV. Let's see what CRV's doing here. Now, CRV still looks very good. Very good. We had this, let's see, triple bullish daily divergence. I mean, you don't really see that often. We had look at this. We had a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves to the upside. So let's get A, B, and C. I mean, this thing can come all the way down here and still be bullish. That's probably what it's going to do. It's probably going to bounce up and then pull back and then continue higher. So if that's the case, then the rest of the market might be in a little bit of trouble here, because it doesn't have that luxury like CRV did, where it had that big push to the upside. Unless it's some kind of 3, we get 3 down, and then we get some kind of 5 up, so 3, 3, 5. something big, and then we kind of flag out in here, right? That would be something to look for. And I actually like that a lot because it would make sense, you know. So Filecoin, terrible, not looking good for Filecoin. I mean, it's okay, but it broke a lot of this area in here without holding a lot of structure. Does it have divergence? Yeah, it does. It does have the bullish divergence, but you know what? So what? It actually had, you can see it actually had bullish divergence here. See, from here to here, right? And then look what it did. They just took it right out. And now you have bullish divergence here, so they could just take it. They can roll it up a little bit and then just take it out. It's easy to take it out on the 1 hour. That's why it's so much more significant if it's like on the weekly chart or the daily chart. It's a lot harder to take that out. But yeah, you can see, you know, you come down, you have this bottleneck here, and then you kind of drop through, have a three-way pullback, drop again. Similar thing to kind of like Bitcoin we were looking at, and XRP, where you had that, you know, this bottleneck here, and then bam, you hit to the high, come back up, boom, hit it again. So, you know, looking at both of them, it's same kind of thing, bottleneck, drop down, pull back up, drop down. So that should be the bottom if that fractal is going to hold true. We'll see. XLM's looking pretty decent here. Oversold on the 1 hour. Got some bullish divergence here. So, you know, and it also has that three-wave shape, right? We have this big push to the upside, and then we have A, B, C. And usually C is fast and furious, right? Maybe C is not done. Maybe it needs to roll up one more time and hit the low. But essentially, we have an impulse to the upside and a three-way pullback. So I know there's a lot of bearishness out there right now, but let's not ignore all of the bullish things that have been transpiring. So yeah, let's see if we can get. And when you look at XLM, let's see if we can get some follow through here. Yeah, you can see the bullish divergence. It's not that much, but it's on the daily here on XLM. So it gave me that nice look. And then also, the whole thing is in a big three-wave shape. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, you can see that three-wave shape right there. And that's all corrective. So this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like a broadening wedge kind of diagonal. So wave 1, wave 2, a three-wave pullback. And then here's your I would imagine this would be kind of like a wave 1 and a wave. No, it can't be wave 1 wave because we broke the low. So this would be wave 1, A, B, C, wave 2. So, and then also it could actually come even further down. So if I put the retracement up, we could actually go all the way down to the 618. Boom, boom, all the way down here. And it can still be that 1, 2. You can see that three-wave shape right there. So we could still have more downside to go here on XLM. But, you know, it's crypto, and, you know, what a difference a day can make, right? So let's, you know, let's see what happens tomorrow. Look at XRP. We're starting to pump here a little bit. I mean, let's see. We're up from the low. We're up about almost 4%. I didn't even count that low. So, you know, getting a little bit of bids in here. Maybe a double bottom, right? Let's see. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing here. Oh, let's look at USD dominance. Okay, there's your problem right there. Look at the dominance. It just pumped to the upside. I don't like, this is the chart that I don't like. That is a diagonal, guys. Man, that sucks. It looks to me like this is a 3-wave move, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a diagonal. So then we want to see an ABC pullback. So we still have some downside to go here on USDT, but you know, that's bullish for Tether, bearish for the rest of the market. Let's just look at total then. Here, I was trying to keep it under 50 minutes today. Yeah, kind of consolidating. Maybe it could be like a Wyckoff structure. But essentially, we're just consolidating. If we break this range, then we could have that 5th wave, right? If we break to the upside, then let's look for a retracement. Looks like Theta just pushed up to the high, so that could be a good sign here for a diagonal. But look, it's dumping hard right now. So on the 1 minute, obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're just dumping hard. So maybe this is an A. We come up B, C. I want to see something like that. So maybe $1.22 in here, and then continue higher. So we have that diagonal pattern, so we'll see if there's anything that can get made out of it. Bitcoin did not. It only had a 3-wave move, came down, had the retracement here, and now it's continuing to dump. So we'll see how it continues to progress. If I had to guess, probably another low. The way it came down is not the way I wanted it to come down, but we'll see how it plays out. But anyways, that'll do it for this video. We'll see what happens, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.